On behalf of the Prince of Pleasure, I welcome you to this Slaanesh tutorial. It doesn't matter if it's the 41st millennium or the Age of Sigmar, a pink armor is always standing out. To achieve this deep and rich looking pink, we have to start with a black primed miniature. But first we are going to dry brush all over it using dark silver and silver by Pro Acryl. An alternative by Games Workshop would be Iron Warriors and Runefang Steel. When you're also using a wet palette, I would recommend not to put the paints onto the paper, because metallic paints have a tendency to sink through the paper itself right into the sponge. And these metallic pigments can really up your sponge. Ta-da! There's your Iron Warrior. Now onto the essential paints. At first, this is Pink Horror by Games Workshop, which has a surprisingly good coverage. Honestly, I'm so impressed how well this covers over a black prime miniature. But anyway, we are going to paint the entire armor, but try not to paint up onto the trim, so we'll leave a little bit of room between the trim and the pink armor. This is quite essential for the next step, because we are going to shade the miniature, and when we've done it, it will have this deep and rich looking dark purpley pinkish tone to it. In the next step, we are going to shade all the pinkish armor parts with Magos Purple. For parts that are a bit harder to reach, I use the stippling motion. Keep in mind, shading is like painting, we don't just slap color onto it. When the paint is dry, we are going to brighten up the armor parts again using Pink Horror. As always, we are going to paint all these parts that are aiming towards the sky, leaving out those that are facing downwards. Adding a bit of wolf grey into the mix, like 70% Pink Horror and 30% wolf grey. When I place some highlights, I try to follow the shape of the trim so it looks coherent. When there is no trim, I try to follow the shape of the armor part. Some edge highlightings and micro scratches here and there. Also, I would like to encourage you to leave a like or a subscription. Check out the links down below. Or just comment why Slaanesh is your favorite Chaos God. And now we are pushing the paint job even more, as we are going to brighten up the edge highlights and some of the armor parts with an even brighter pink. Here as well I like to paint some texturing, some micro scratches, because I like to have a bit more variety. Some small dots to represent some dents. And overall some highlight placement. Also, I would like to thank you so much for leaving such nice comments under all these tutorials. As I think most of you know, I just started with this and this keeps me motivated. Also, this tutorial has a bit more of a faster cutting. It would mean the world to me if you guys tell me if it's good or bad. I said it in my first tutorial and I still mean it, I'm always open for critique. Drumhead and the skin I used Hex Lichen as a base coat. An alternative by Games Workshop would be Phoenician Purple. And of course, coming back to my trusted recipe, Hex Lichen, Bugman's Glow and Elfic Flash. I'm going to add a bit more and more Bugman's Glow into the mix until we have a nice fading color. I'll do the same with the skin and repeat the process, this time using Elfic Flash. I tried to follow the shape of the drum mat and paint some lines aiming towards the center. Paint the fabric in Abyssal Turquoise or Stegodon Scale Green by Games Workshop. Some parts in Retributor Armor. And once again we are using Elfic Flash, mix it up with the blue and highlight the fabric. I wanted to have another even brighter blue for the blade of the sword, so once again I lay a purple foundation, covered it with Thousand Suns blue and wet blended some wolf grey in there. And of course, I edge highlighted it with a pure white. For the eyes, I simply repeat the process. First using 1000 Suns Blue, then a 50-50 mix of 1000 Suns and Wolf Grey, ending up on a pure white. For the last step, I'm going to brighten up some of the gold parts using light bronze by Pro Acrylic. I like to be open about it, this paint job took me about 1 hour to 1.5 hours. But I gotta say, it always takes a little longer when you're recording a tutorial. Once again, I would like to thank you so much for checking out this tutorial. I sincerely hope you had something that you can take with you. And I see you all in the next one. Backflip, nice.